What if your ambition is sabotaged by the very clock you use to measure progress? Rockefeller's wealth was not built on hours worked, but on a 5-minute epiphany that rewired his perception of reality. I will reveal the invisible ledger he learned to read, a ledger that remains unseen by almost everyone. We are all born into a system that teaches us a single, fundamental lie, that our time is a commodity to be sold. From the first school bell to the final punch clock, we are conditioned to equate hours with value. We trade segments of our finite existence for currency, believing that the path to prosperity is paved with more hours, more effort, more sacrifice. This linear exchange is presented as the only honorable game in town, the unquestioned foundation of a working life. It is the most elegant and pervasive trap ever devised, one that ensnares the diligent and the ambitious alike. The great flaw in this model is its brutal mathematics. There are only 24 hours in a day, a non-negotiable limit. By tethering your earning potential to your time, you have accepted a ceiling that you can never break through. You can become more efficient, you can work longer, but you will always be constrained by the unyielding march of the clock. This is the hamster wheel of the masses, a system designed not for the creation of true wealth, but for the maintenance of a productive and perpetually constrained workforce. Wealth is not about earning more per hour, it is about escaping the equation entirely. In his early days, John D. Rockefeller was also a prisoner of this equation. A meticulous bookkeeper, he tracked every cent, a master of the arithmetic of labor. He was diligent, disciplined, and by all conventional measures, on a path to moderate success. He was playing the game better than most, but he was still playing the same limited game. He bartered his time and expertise for a salary, climbing a ladder where each rung was simply a slightly higher price for an hour of his life. He was a perfect product of the system, which is precisely why he was the one destined to break it. The seed of genius is often not inspiration, but a profound and intellectual dissatisfaction with the status quo. It is the quiet, persistent feeling that the underlying rules of the game are flawed. For Rockefeller, this was the growing realization that his meticulous accounting of money was missing the point. He was tracking the symptoms, not the cause. He began to sense a different kind of ledger, a different kind of value, operating just beneath the surface of the visible economy. This search for a superior model, born from the frustration with his own limitations, was the true beginning of his ascent. This mindset of active income is a self-perpetuating cycle, a treadmill that gives the illusion of forward motion. You work harder to earn more, which increases your expenses and expectations, which in turn requires you to work even harder. It is a race against your own consumption, fueled by the belief that the next promotion or the next client will finally be the one that provides freedom. But a system based on trading your active time will never grant you passive freedom. It is designed to consume the very resource you need to escape, your time and your focus. The core of this mental shift lies in a simple yet profound metaphor: the difference between the mason and the architect. Society trains and rewards us for being excellent masons. The mason is a master of his craft. He arrives on site, takes the bricks and mortar he is given, and flawlessly executes his task. He is efficient, reliable, and absolutely essential to the construction of the building. His focus is on the perfect placement of the next brick, and he is paid for each hour he spends doing so. His world is tangible, immediate, and task-oriented. The mason's value, however, is capped by his physical presence and the hours he can work. He is a vital component within a system, but he does not control the system itself. His perspective is necessarily limited to the wall in front of him. He may build 1,000 walls in his lifetime, each one a testament to his skill and diligence, but he will never own the building. He is rewarded for his labor, but the true wealth is captured not by the one who lays the bricks, but by the one who designed the structure in the first place, the one who conceived of the system. The architect, by contrast, may never lay a single brick. His work is done before the first shovel ever breaks ground. He deals not in tangible labor, but in vision, structure, and systems. He designs the blueprint, the framework that gives every single brick its ultimate purpose and value. The architect's output is not tied to his time, but to the quality and leverage of his design. A brilliant blueprint can be replicated, scaled, and built by thousands of masons, and the architect profits from the entire system, not just his own individual effort. This was Rockefeller's ultimate realization. He stopped thinking like a seller of kerosene barrels. The mason laying brick sand started thinking like the designer of the entire industry. He did not focus on selling one more barrel today. He focused on building the system, the refineries, the pipelines, the logistics that would control the flow of all barrels. The Standard Oil monopoly was not just a company, it was a blueprint, an architectural marvel of efficiency and control that made the labor of others exponentially more valuable under its design. The application of this principle is universal. In your own life, you must ask a difficult question. Are you spending your days being an excellent mason, perfectly executing the tasks given to you within a system you do not own? Or are you dedicating even a small portion of your time to being the architect, designing a system, be it a business, a brand, or an investment portfolio that will one day operate and generate value independent of your direct hour-by-hour labor? The answer to that question will determine your financial trajectory. In a moment of profound clarity, whether it took 5 minutes or 5 months, Rockefeller's perception was permanently altered. He began to see the world not through the lens of cash flow, but through what I call the invisible ledger. This is not an accounting book of dollars and cents. It is a mental ledger that contains only 2 columns, assets and liabilities. But his definitions for these terms were radically different from those of a typical accountant. They had nothing to do with money and everything to do with the physics of value. In this invisible ledger, a liability is not merely a debt. A liability is any claim on your time or resources that does not generate future value independently. Your 9-to-5 job, under this definition, is a liability. It consumes your most precious resource in exchange for a linear, non-scaling return. It requires your constant presence. The moment you stop performing the labor, the income ceases. It is a perpetual drain on your autonomy, a systemic claim against your future freedom. Conversely, an asset in this ledger is not just something you own. An asset is a system, a structure, or a piece of property that generates value whether you are actively working on it or not. It is a business that runs on well-designed processes. It is a piece of intellectual property that pays royalties. It is a portfolio of investments that compounds while you sleep. An asset works for you, decoupling your income from your time. It is a claim you have on the future, a source of autonomous value. This redefinition was the core of Rockefeller's 5-minute shift. His primary focus pivoted from one question to another. He stopped asking, how can I earn more money from my efforts today? And started asking, how can I acquire or build one more true asset today? This new question guided every single business decision he made. He was no longer interested in earning a wage. He was exclusively interested in accumulating the machines that produce the wages. This shift is available to you right now. It is the conscious decision to stop viewing the world through the lens of your next paycheck and to start evaluating every opportunity, every hour spent, against the 2 columns of the invisible ledger. Are you spending your life acquiring liabilities that consume your time? Or are you dedicating your life to the patient accumulation of assets that will one day set you free? The answer is a choice, not a circumstance. The first and most powerful asset class in this new framework is the system. A system is not a vague concept. It is a clearly defined, repeatable process that produces a desired outcome with minimal direct involvement from its creator. A system is a machine. Your job is to be the engineer who designs and builds the machine, not the laborer who pulls its levers for 8 hours a day. The machine is the asset, and once built, it works tirelessly on your behalf. The true genius of Standard Oil was not its product, but its system. Rockefeller was obsessed with creating the most ruthlessly efficient logistical machine the world had ever seen. He systematized refining, transportation, and distribution to the point where he could deliver a superior product at a lower cost than any competitor. The system itself became the asset, a fortress of efficiency that was nearly impossible to assail. The oil was merely the fuel that ran through his perfectly engineered machine. In the modern world, the opportunities to build such systems are endless and often require far less capital. An online business with automated marketing and fulfillment is a system. A YouTube channel that generates ad revenue from a library of evergreen videos is a system. A piece of software that solves a specific problem for thousands of users is a system. Each is an asset that, once constructed and refined, can generate value 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, across the globe. The immense beauty of a well-designed system is that it achieves the one thing a traditional job can never offer. It severs the link between your time and your income. It creates leverage. While the mason can only build one wall at a time, the architect of a system can deploy his blueprint to have 1,000 walls built simultaneously. His impact and his income are scaled through the power of the process he created, not the hours he personally invests. This is the fundamental physics of wealth creation. Building a system, however, requires a temporary shift in priorities. It demands the discipline of the architect. It means forgoing the immediate gratification of a mason's hourly wage to invest time in designing the blueprint. It is the upfront, often uncompensated work of creating processes, writing code, or recording content. It is a period of intense investment for a future of disproportionate returns. Most people are unwilling to make this trade, which is why most people remain masons for life. The second critical asset to be recorded in your invisible ledger is information, specifically asymmetric information. Wealth is rarely created from common knowledge. It is created from understanding a truth, a trend, or a variable before the market fully appreciates its value. This informational edge allows you to act with a degree of certainty while others are still operating on speculation or outdated assumptions. It is the ability to see the chessboard 3 moves ahead of your opponent. Rockefeller was a master of information arbitrage. He didn't just control the oil, he controlled the data. He knew the transportation costs, the refinery outputs, and the inventory levels across the entire country. While competitors were making decisions based on local rumors and guesswork, he was operating with a near-omniscient view of the entire system. This information was a more valuable asset than any single oil well, as it allowed him to anticipate market shifts and acquire assets at a fraction of their future worth. In our age, information is abundant, but informational asymmetry is still a potent source of leverage. It means developing deep expertise in a nascent industry before it becomes mainstream. It means understanding the nuances of a new technology while others see only the hype. It means building a network that provides you with insights and opportunities that are not publicly available. It is the deliberate cultivation of a unique and valuable perspective on the world. To build this asset, you must shift from being a passive consumer of information to an active strategic seeker of knowledge. This requires voracious and targeted reading, not for entertainment, but for applicable models. It means engaging in continuous learning, mastering rare and valuable skills that put you in the top 1% of your field. It means prioritizing conversations and relationships that expand your understanding rather than simply reinforcing your existing beliefs. This asset transforms risk. When you act with superior information, what appears to be a gamble to an outsider is, to you, a calculated investment with a high probability of success. You are not throwing darts in the dark. You are making a deliberate move based on a clearer map of reality. Information reduces uncertainty and illuminates the path of highest return. It converts the chaotic noise of the market into a signal you can act upon. Remember, mere knowledge is not power, it is inert. The application of uncommon knowledge is power. It is the ability to connect disparate ideas, to see the pattern before it is obvious, and to have the courage to act on that insight when the rest of the world is looking the other way. This asset, once cultivated, is weightless, infinitely scalable, and can never be taken from you. It is the ultimate form of leverage in an economy that increasingly rewards the mind over muscle. The third and perhaps most underestimated asset on the invisible ledger is reputation. We tend to think of reputation as a soft, intangible quality, but in the world of high-stakes value creation, it is a hard asset with a calculable return on investment. A powerful reputation functions as a form of invisible collateral, a universal key that opens doors that remain permanently locked to others. It is the silent force that precedes you into every room and every negotiation. Rockefeller's reputation was multifaceted. To the public, it was one of ruthless efficiency. To his bankers, it was one of unerring reliability. It was this latter reputation that gave him access to vast sums of capital at favorable terms. Bankers lent him money not just against his physical assets, but against the certainty of his execution. His reputation for turning every venture into a ruthlessly efficient machine was a more bankable asset than any single refinery. It was a promise of future returns. Trust is the currency that underpins every significant transaction. Before a contract is signed, before a dollar is exchanged, a transaction of trust must occur. A strong reputation automates this process. It dramatically reduces the friction of doing business, allowing you to move faster and secure better terms than your less trusted competitors. It is a powerful form of leverage, enabling you to command resources and partnerships far beyond your immediate reach. Building this asset in the modern era is an act of deliberate and radical consistency. It is built by consistently delivering more value than you capture. It is built by making promises and then unfailingly exceeding them. It is built by becoming the most reliable, most competent, and most integer-driven individual in your network. Every email, every project, every interaction is a deposit or a withdrawal from your reputational account. There are no neutral transactions. A formidable reputation fundamentally changes the dynamics of opportunity. You stop chasing clients, investors, and partners, and they begin to seek you out. Opportunities start to flow toward you, attracted by the gravitational pull of your proven character and competence. You transition from a position of hunting to a position of being hunted. This is the ultimate efficiency, a world where your past actions are continuously working to bring you future opportunities. Treat your reputation not as a byproduct of your work, but as one of its most important products. It is an asset that compounds silently with every act of excellence and every fulfilled promise. Unlike physical assets, it cannot be destroyed in a market crash. It is the bedrock upon which all other systems and assets are built, and its strength will ultimately determine the height of the structures you can erect. This new framework also requires a complete recalibration of what constitutes risk. The conventional mindset, that of the Mason, perceives risk in action. The risk is in starting a new venture that might fail, in investing money that might be lost, or in pursuing an unconventional path that offers no guarantee of success. The Mason's primary goal is the avoidance of immediate and visible failure, so he seeks the perceived safety of the well-trodden path. The architect, however, understands a deeper and more insidious form of risk, the risk of inaction. The architect sees that the greatest danger lies not in attempting to build something new, but in remaining entirely dependent on a single, fragile system that you do not control. The true risk is in having a single job, a single income stream, and a single skill set in a world of constant and accelerating change. Stagnation is the silent gamble that almost always loses over the long term. Rockefeller's audacious moves to consolidate the oil industry were seen by his contemporaries as acts of incredible, reckless risk. He took on massive debt and waged brutal campaigns against competitors. But from his perspective, he was actively de-risking his position. The true danger was a fragmented, chaotic, and inefficient industry. The greatest risk was allowing a competitor to build a more efficient system than his own. His aggressive actions were a calculated strategy to eliminate the existential threat of inertia. The billionaire mindset does not avoid risk, it redefines it. It understands that the calculated risk taken in the pursuit of building an asset is always lower than the hidden, systemic risk of long-term dependency. The temporary risk of a business failing is far less than the permanent risk of spending 40 years beholden to a single employer's whims and market fortunes. The focus shifts from avoiding failure to building anti-fragility through a portfolio of cell-phone systems. Examine your own life through this lens. What you currently perceive as safety, the steady paycheck, the predictable career path may, in fact, be your single greatest point of vulnerability. It creates a fragile dependency that can be shattered by a single event, a layoff, an industry disruption, or a technological shift. The pursuit of assets, while containing moments of acute risk, is ultimately the only rational path toward genuine long-term security in an uncertain world. The final component of this mental architecture is adopting the patience of a geologist. Our modern culture is a high-predictive machine of instant gratification. We are conditioned to expect immediate results, to look for life hacks, and to celebrate overnight success. This neurologically wired impatience is the single greatest enemy of building the kind of systemic architectural wealth that lasts for generations. True wealth is not an earthquake. It is the slow, imperceptibly, and unstoppable pressure of tectonic plates. Rockefeller did not think in terms of quarterly earnings reports or annual bonuses. He was laying the foundation for an industrial dynasty that would last for a century. He made decisions whose true benefits would not be realized for years, or even decades. He possessed a profound understanding of the power of compounding, not just of money, but of systems, reputation, and market position. He operated on a time horizon that was completely alien to his short-sighted competitors. This architect's mindset requires you to fall in love with the process, not just the outcome. It requires you to embrace the often boring, unglamorous work of laying a solid foundation, the daily, consistent effort of building your system, acquiring your knowledge, and strengthening your reputation rarely produces a visible result tomorrow or next week. The progress is incremental, almost invisible. This lack of immediate feedback causes most people to quit and return to the predictable rewards of the mason. Patience is not a passive act of waiting. It is an active, unwavering trust in the process you have designed. It is the deep confidence that the small, consistent inputs you make today are being compounded by the laws of mathematics and human nature into a massively disproportionate output in the future. It is having the foresight to plant a tree, knowing you will not sit in its shade for many years. It is a strategic choice to trade immediate satisfaction for eventual domination. You must consciously divorce yourself from the need for instant validation. Stop measuring your progress in days and start measuring it in years. Stop looking for the earthquake of a viral moment or a lucky break, and instead, focus on applying consistent, intelligent pressure. The world's greatest fortunes, like its greatest geological formations, are the result of immense pressure applied consistently over a vast expanse of time. This is the ultimate test of the architect. Can you continue to draw the blueprint, refine the system, and lay the foundation, day after day, with no immediate applause or reward? Can you maintain faith in your design when the building is nothing more than a hole in the ground? If you can master this geological sense of time, you will become unstoppable. You will be operating on a level that the impatient world simply cannot compete with. So let us bring this from the realm of philosophy into the world of action. The goal is not to become John D. Rockefeller, but to install his perceptual operating system onto your own mind. It is to learn to see the world as he did, a grand chessboard of systems and assets, not a factory floor of hourly tasks. This begins not with a grand gesture, but with a quiet, deliberate act of recategorization, a simple audit of your own reality. Your first action as an architect is to take a blank sheet of paper or open a new document. Draw a line down the middle. On the left side, write the heading Mason Activities. On the right, Architect Activities. A Mason activity is any task you perform as part of a system you do not own, where you are trading your time for a linear return. An architect activity is any task that contributes to the building of an asset or system that you do own. Now, for the next 24 hours, honestly track your time. Every hour you spend, from answering emails for your employer to designing a personal website, categorize it. Place it in the appropriate column. Be ruthless in your honesty. At the end of the day, look at the two columns. The ratio you see is the current trajectory of your life. It is a stark, mathematical representation of whether you are building someone else's empire or your own. The awareness this simple exercise provides is the true beginning of the shift. You cannot change what you do not measure. The immediate goal is not to eliminate the Mason column we all have. Obligations, but to consciously and deliberately carve out time, even just 1 hour each day, for the architect column. This is non-negotiable, sacred time dedicated to designing your systems, acquiring your asymmetric knowledge, and building your reputation. This 1-hour commitment is your fulcrum. It is the point of leverage that will, over time, shift the entire balance of your life. While others are spending 100% of their time laying bricks for a wage, you are dedicating a small but consistent portion of your life to designing the entire building. This is not about working harder. It is about working with a different kind of purpose, with a clarity that separates the vital few actions from the trivial many. The fundamental shift does not happen when you quit your job or make your first million. It happens the moment you decide to reallocate your most precious resource, your attention away from the immediate task and toward the long-term design. It is the quiet, internal pivot from focusing on the brick in your hand to focusing on the blueprint in your mind. This is how you begin to see the invisible ledger, and this is how you begin to build a life of true architectural freedom. The 5-minute mindset shift is not a single event. It is a door that, once opened, can never be closed again. You can no longer unsee the invisible ledger of value. From this day forward, you will not see mere jobs, but systems. You will not see tasks, but the construction of assets. This perception is the genesis of all true financial autonomy. If this deconstruction resonated with you and you crave more frameworks for thinking like an architect in a world of masons, subscribe to this channel, not for more tips, but for a continuous recalibration of your perception. The next blueprint is waiting to be drawn.